This is the sample animation scene that comes with the tutorial series. Let's briefly look at this scene, and we note that it's made of very simple objects, cubes and cylinders mainly, and the textures are using standard true space shaders, and we also have Groover. There are several things within this scene that are incomplete or left undone, and this is so you will have a place to practice your new skills learned from the tutorials. At the top of each tower is a cube, and the purpose of this cube is for the look at object for the spotlights. These cubes already have paths created for them, but feel free to modify these paths or delete them and start all over. The look at is not enabled in the scene. You will need to select the spotlight, select look at, and select the cube, and do the same for the spotlight fixture. All of the objects in the scene are labeled appropriately. Spot focus 1 correlates to spotlight 1, and spot focus 2 to spotlight 2. The camera is in a similar situation by selecting the cam focus object, which is currently embedded in the wall. Let's bring it out. Now select the camera, then use the look at and use the glue tool on the cam focus cube. Now set the view to look from the camera, and we see the beginning of the animation. Don't forget to set the look at objects invisible before you actually render. Attention. Now let's look at what it takes to output your animation. We click in the render group, and we click on the one that has the yellow folder. This is the render to file that you're probably already familiar with stills. Here we can select the type of output we want, either target files, TGA files, bitmaps, JPEG, so on, and AVI files. Let's look at what is involved in rendering a series of target files first. Let's go ahead and type in a name, say Prison1, but do not press enter. Let's look at the other options here. We have the resolution options that you're familiar with, I'm sure, of the current window size, standard preset sizes, or sizes of your choice. You can render in the animation group, you can render the current frame only, all of the frames of the animation, or if you have already viewed the clip that we have rendered, we started at frame 175 and went on through frame 1014. Below that is the frame rate. Since we are set for NTSC, we have the options of 30 or 15 frames per second. You may also adjust the pixel aspect ratio, which is currently set to 1. On the lower left is the effects box. Here you can enable or disable motion blur, as well as work with field rendering. If you plan to output directly to video, then even odd and odd even options are there. For web distribution or view from a PC, then select none. On the motion blur settings, you can select the motion blur length, which is the number of frames of the animation that will be calculated, and then motion blur frames. This is how many intermediate frames will be generated to create the blur. When all is set the way you want it, pressing the render button will bring up yet another panel. In this panel, for the TGA files, we can change the image depth, enable or disable the compression of the image, and then whether we want the frame numbers to begin with 0. These numbers will be tacked on to the end of the file name. And the render begins. Now let's go back and see what it's like to render to an AVI file. Same thing, let's give it a name. Say Prison1, but do not press enter yet. Let's look over some of the other options. We'll select the 352 by 240, set it to 30 frames per second, turn off motion blur, and now let's render. This brings up a different panel, the AVI compression panel. Here, all of the codecs available in your system will be displayed. If you plan to edit this clip and then compress later, I would go for full frames uncompressed. Any of the other codecs will give you certain parameters you can change, such as the quality, how often keyframes occur, and the data rate at which the stream is saved. Many of these will also have a configure button that you may press to set additional parameters. Once all of this is ready to go, press OK, and you're off and running with your animation.